All right, we are looking at factoring special products. This is the second video. I did run the first video into the final seconds, so I'm going to redo this last example to make sure you know how to do it. Then we're going to move on to the real world example, which will be the last example in this lesson. All right, so looking at n squared minus 81 equals 0, I know that n squared is a perfect square, 81 is a perfect square, 9 times 9 is 81. So this is a difference of squares. So remember, a difference of squares can be written as n plus 9 times n minus 9. And this is an equation, so it's still equal to 0. Because I have a product of two things equal to 0, I can use the zero product property and say each one of these can be set equal to 0. So n equals negative 9. Or if I set the other one equal to 0, I add 9 to both sides. So n equals negative 9 or 9. Again, you can plug these in and check them. It's a good thing to do. Okay, remember, if you plug in a negative number, negative 9 squared is going to become positive 81. 81 minus 81 equals 0. 9 squared is 81. 81 minus 81 equals 0. So you can always check your answers by simply plugging it into the original equation and seeing if it makes a true statement. All right, so math practice, look for structure. What is true about the roots of every equation? Remember, a root is just the answer. So n equals negative 9 would be a root. N equals 9 would be a root of this equation. All right, so what's true about x plus a quantity squared equals 0? Well, we can look at the previous examples and you can see that you're going to have a multiple root. You're going to have a multiple root at any time you have a binomial squared. It's going to have a multiple root. All right, example 5. A bird picks up a golf ball and drops it while flying. The function represents the height y in feet of the golf ball t seconds after it is dropped. The ball hits the top of a roof that is 32 feet high. After how many seconds does the ball hit the roof? All right, so you can see here it gives us an equation, y equals 81 minus 16t squared. Hopefully, as soon as you look at that, you see that 81 is a perfect square. 9 times 9 is 81. 16t squared is also a perfect square. 4t, quantity squared, is 16t squared. So this is considered a difference of squares. All right, we're also given that y represents the height in feet of a golf ball, and t is seconds after it is dropped. And it says the ball hits the top of the roof after 32 feet. After how many seconds does the ball hit the roof? So what we can do is take our equation. So we have y equals 81 minus 16t squared. And it says the ball hits the roof at 32 feet. Y is the height in feet of the golf ball. So we can put 32 in place of y. All right, now we have an equation. We're always trying to solve for the variable when we have an equation. So we can subtract 32 from both sides. That will set it equal to 0. And then we can hopefully factor and solve from there. All right, so 0 equals, so 81, so that'd be 7, 1, that's 9. So that'd be 49 minus 16t squared. All right, luckily 49 is still a perfect square. 7 squared is 49. 4 squared is 16, and t squared is just t times t. So we still have a difference of perfect squares. So we can set this up as such. So we're going to have 7 plus 4t and 7 minus 4t. All right, then we can set each one equal to 0 and solve. So let's just 7 plus 4t equals 0 and 7 minus 4t equals 0. I just switched the 0. I just put it on the left side. I don't know why. I just kind of like it on that side better. All right, so I got 4t equals negative 7 divided by 4. Time equals negative 7/4. Well, we know time can't be a negative number, so that one's not going to make sense. Let's look at the other one here. So if I subtract 7, all right, so I'm going to have negative 4t equals negative 7 divided by negative 4. T equals 2 negatives make a positive, so 7/4. So remember, t is in seconds. So 7/4 is like 1 3/4 seconds, or 1.75 seconds. So again, because the negative time doesn't make sense, you can just, this one you can just mark out, almost marked out the wrong one. So you can mark out the one that's negative, because you can't have a negative time. Can't have a negative distance. You can't have a negative time. So a lot of times when you're modeling real life, you have to think about what makes sense in the problem. All right, so since you can't have a negative time, use only the positive solution. So the golf ball hits the roof after 7/4 seconds, or after 1.75 seconds. All right, that's all for example 5. If you have any questions, please let me know.